Thousands of fans have come here to Davis Stadium to watch football games over the years. Starting in September, it won't just be the boys competing here. In fact, you might see all girls teams battling it out across the field. Since New Year's, Kaylee Klein's story has been featured all across the country, here on MTN and even Inside Edition. But a new report released by the Park County attorney questions some of those events Klein said happened that fateful night. Medical students with Rocky Vista are learning the basics to stings and bites with Montana animals, including furry creatures like this, the tarantula. It's not a concept that's new to Yellowstone County. In fact, here in Billings, St. Francis Catholic School ran for 99 years before being turned into condos. Behind me is about 2,000 loads worth of snow that employees from the city of Billings have gathered. I'm here at Buggy Bath Car Wash in Billings vacuuming out one of our news cars because this location is one of 20 other car washes in the city of Billings alone. Just Tuesday, the CEO of Target, Brian Cornell, said he expects grocery prices to rise within the next couple of days, but we wanted to see how local shoppers here in Montana would be impacted by those tariffs. For the second year in a row, the Billings Powwow has brought together Native American communities from all across the region. And this powwow in particular celebrates the circle of life and honors those that have been lost along the way.
There's lots of different ways people could look at it. People could look at it as a ceremony, some could look at it as a social gathering or a competition.
Native American Heritage Month in Billings ended with the powwow in remembrance of those who weren't alive to see it.
Just the camaraderie of the people and all of the dancers and singers that come together, it's becomes a lot of times extended family.
Family, what the Billings Powwow is all about. Created by the Windy Boy family, the powwow is in honor of two lost members, Alvin John J. Windy Boy and Marva Jean Windy Boy. Montana legislator Jonathan Windy Boy, the event's MC and member of the family, says every dance for the next 2 days is all about Alvin and Marva.
The feeling of loss is a part of the circle and the gathering, so it just makes sense, for the family here to do this.
The 2024 Powwow Princess, Kyrie Windy Boy, remembered her family as she crowned the new 2025 princess on Saturday.
The whole reason my dad started this powwow because of my late grandma and uncle. And my uncle really wanted me to become the princess for it, to represent it.
And for those attendants who aren't part of the Windy Boy spirit, it was as enjoyable. Like for Sienna Wolfchild and Nakoa Red Star, who wanted to be a part of the friendly dance competitions.
I'm a women's traditional, and then I'll be wearing these dresses that I made, like with elk teeth and with like these shells.
The style of dance I do is the men's traditional. They're basically the storytellers.
And if you missed Saturday's dances, don't worry, as the bright colors, bells, and familial warmth continues all Sunday too. In Billings, Mack, Carmack, MTN News. It's here in the basement of the Intermountain Health Yellowstone Medical Center where Kevin Witherspoon comes twice a week to exercise and to keep his heart healthy. Kevin Witherspoon rang the bell Tuesday, signaling an end to everything he's been through over the last 18 months.
All the weddings and graduations and all the moments, I want to be around for all of it.
Kevin's heart journey began right before the 4th of July, 2023. After a weekend of preparing for the holiday, Kevin noticed he wasn't feeling well.
It's been life-changing for sure.
On his way to the hospital, Kevin was revived not once or twice, but 11 times due to heart failure.
I remember waking up from the first time that they shocked me, thinking, wow, that really hurt.
Nurse practitioner Brittany Silver says Witherspoon's condition is rare in those under 50.
It was surprising and uncommon. He's such a great patient, he's really put his effort into it.
Kevin began his first cardiac rehab treatment afterwards and was regularly exercising and eating healthy. But even so, a second heart event left him in the ICU just a few months later.
I can notice that I was experiencing a lot of fatigue. Workouts became a little harder, but just days before I was set to come in, you know, my heart started beating really fast, and I was going through atrial flutter.
Fast forward to today, Kevin just finished his second physical therapy treatment. Manny Fickle with Intermountain Health has been with him every step of the way.
By the time he's hit 36 sessions today, he's able to do everything that I throw at him and probably more.
A thriving man and thankful to be alive after almost losing his wife and 3 children.
I just like them to know that I really appreciate everything that they've done for me.
To a disease that doesn't discriminate.
I think that's the main thing with heart disease, is it affects everybody.
In Billings, Mack, Carmack, MTN News. It's an epidemic impacting reservations across Montana.
I would probably say that every single Native American in this country and in Canada as well has somebody directly and probably within their immediate family that are impacted by this.
Missing and murdered Indigenous people.
Lisa Azure.
Organizers Nikki Waggy and Lita Pepion spent weeks gathering MMIP names to read on the Yellowstone County Courthouse lawn Friday. That list over 140 people long, one of which is Nikki's brother.
They stopped counting his wounds at 57. And that wasn't nowhere near how many times he had been stabbed.
His brutal murder fueling the passion behind Friday's call for help.
That's why I've been active ever since, because if I can prevent anyone else from feeling that hurt and that rage, it's not even anger, it's rage. I'm gonna do everything I can.
Their latest effort, trying to get enough petition signatures to convince the city of Billings to fund a new low-barrier shelter for the specific population.
Enough of this Band-Aid stuff. We need quality, and we're tired of waiting for it. We want it.
Nikki's brother is just one of many men that have been affected by violence.
82% of Native Indigenous men have experienced violence in their lifetime. That's a huge, huge number. Violence creates trauma, and so many of our people are traumatized, and that's unhealed and untreated and unrecognized.
That trauma and pain was recognized through each of the guest speakers. Nikki and Lita doing this out of the love in their hearts until those 140 names receive justice.
A lot of people say we've lost community, and I would look around here and say, no, we haven't.
In Billings, Mack, Carmack, MTN News. Zoo Montana was in the spotlight Friday morning as Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom filmed one of their episodes here in Billings, all about the cute and curious wolverine in the name of conservation.
You are ready for your close-up.
They may look like grizzly bears with their large claws and snouts, but these fluffy and friendly animals are actually a part of the weasel family.
They're an amazing animal to talk about. You know, they're just so elusive. Not many people get to see them in the wild, but they're right here in the state of Montana.
If you can't catch them in the wild, you can see them at Zoo Montana. In fact, kids have been born each of the last 2 years at the facility. A very rare sight.
We are so incredibly proud that we are a breeding facility for wolverines. And that may not sound like much, but it's a big deal because the wolverine that was born last year, Enda is her name, she was the only wolverine born in North America in any zoological park.
Not every zoo is made equal. And so zoos like Zoo Montana that are AZA accredited, that really demonstrates that the zoo is an active part of wildlife conservation.
It's why Wild Kingdom co-host Dr. Ray Wynn-Grant found herself in Billings Friday. The wolverine may look scary from the outside, but up close they're very sociable creatures.
They're also popular for the culture, right? I mean, we have entire superheroes named after wolverines. And so that means that we wanted to really get to know them better.
Unfortunately, though, their population is slowly declining.
Wolverines are endangered. They face a lot of threats, and yet they're a super important carnivore to the forest ecosystems.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, featured on NBC and Animal Planet, focuses on conservation efforts across the globe. Aside from special conservation efforts to protect this lovable animal, Grant says we can also learn from these cute creatures.
Stay curious. I love to tell everybody that no matter who you are, where you come from, or what your skill set is, there's a role for you in wildlife and nature conservation.
In Billings, Mack, Carmack, MTN News. Those in support of the bill say it could protect our youth from the hazards of addiction as well as severe damage to the mind and body. On the flip side, those against the bill say it could negatively impact our economy as well as consumers that rely on the medicinal properties of THC.
This is a very important bill for the people of Montana, and I think we can send a good message too across the United States.
It's a divisive issue that was put in the spotlight Thursday morning at the Montana Capitol, the concentration of THC legally allowed to be sold in Montana. Senate Bill 443 states that in high potency, THC can be more addictive than nicotine, can increase the risk of addiction and mental disorders, and cause severe damage to children. That's why the bill would limit the flower content of THC from 35 to 15% and limit servings of edible marijuana to 10 milligrams.
To have dispensaries like revamp how they grow is a huge problem. I mean, it wipes out inventory. It really is a bad bill.
Elizabeth Pancolini is the owner of Alternative Wellness in Billings. It's an organization that helps residents receive their medical marijuana cards. She says the bill is unrealistic as it would force cannabis dispensaries to alter the chemical makeup of their products, as THC is only one chemical out of 190.
So just because you reduce THC doesn't mean you're impacting the high.
Supporters of the bill believe it would positively impact communities by reducing addiction rates and protect youth from exposure.
Not much healthy that goes on by putting a federal illegal drug into your body.
Safe Montana founder Steve Zabawa supports the bill and would go even further, decreasing the potency level of THC to 10% and direct marijuana sales revenue towards regulation and prevention.
The problem there is that it's eventual death, or life in addiction. And part of one of our bills with the allocation of money is to really step up treatment for a longer time period so that we have better outcomes.
Pancolini says alcohol can cause more hazardous effects than THC, and it has less regulations.
So it's a weird dynamic, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the conditioning of 80, 90 years of prohibition.
SB 443 is currently being debated in committee. In Billings, Mack, Carmack, MTN News.